Well, we're here to launch a new project that's called the Irish Centre on Wrongful Convictions, and the purpose of the project is to work with and support prisoners or former prisoners who've been the victim of a miscarriage of justice. Since the conflict began, we've had tens of thousands of people who have passed through the prison system here, and many of them, perhaps thousands of them, were the victims of a conveyor belt system of injustice, were tortured, forced to sign confessions, railroaded through the courts and found themselves in prison for long periods, for many, many years. So this project is here to help and support those people. We have an excellent group of lawyers and barristers who are going to be working with us to try and assist, help people get their cases back into court, to have their convictions overturned, to right these historic injustices. So it's an important project. It's a project that I think that will be of help to many, many former prisoners, regardless of where they come from, or indeed prisoners. So we're open. We're hoping that people will begin to contact us, and we'll be working with them to try and have those convictions overturned.
So listen, thanks for coming. It's very welcome. This is the formal launch of a new project, and it's called the Irish Centre on Wrongful Convictions. And the Irish Centre on Wrongful Convictions is a grassroots human rights organisation. It's been established by myself, Paddy Murray and John Finucane, and we have been joined on a new board by Professor Kieran McAvoy from Queen's University, barristers Fiona Doherty, Eugene McKenna, Patricia Harvey, and former Derry prisoner Charlie McMillan, who sent us apologies, he can't be here today. And I want to thank them for joining the board. And I think it's fair to say that we're all very keen to get stuck into the work, which is really about assisting prisoners or former prisoners who have been the victim of a miscarriage of justice. So, why do we need this project? A recent report from two Queen's academics, Ruth Jameson and Pete Shirlow, estimated there's as many as 40,000 people passed through the prison system here over the course of this conflict, from every political shade of opinion. And thousands of those convictions were secured from a deeply flawed, at least in our opinion anyway, a deeply flawed conveyor belt system of injustice. And anyone of you who have spent some time in prison will know some of those people, will know many of those individuals yourselves personally, who were in fact innocent of the charges that they were sent to prison for. So the I.C.W.C. will work with all, I make that important point, we have people here from the lawyers community, from many different shades of political opinion in this city and beyond. It'll work with all prisoners, all former prisoners, regardless of their background, who feel they have been the victim of a miscarriage of justice. And that's our commitment. We will also be campaigning for the Criminal Case Review Commission, which is currently based in Birmingham in England, to establish an office here in the north of Ireland, and an office that would be adequately funded by our own Northern Executive. We also want to campaign for the establishment of a similar body in the south of the island. There have been abuses in that state as well, and that's something we'll be looking forward to in the future as the project progresses. And just to finish off, many former prisoners, I'm sure many prisoners as well, but many former prisoners do feel a sense of hopelessness, and sometimes they see no effective remedy or no effective opportunity to have their convictions, to have these historic injustices overturned or have them righted. So we hope that this project, along with many other projects that work with and on behalf of former prisoners, but we hope that this project will be able to assist former prisoners and their families, people who have been the victim of a miscarriage of justice, right those historic wrongs. And that's what we're here for. We know this is a difficult issue for many individuals as well, because what happened to people, what was done to people, was very traumatic. In many cases, people were tortured. So we know this is a delicate issue for people. So we know we have to get out and encourage people to come forward. So please encourage people to use the office and to come and talk to us. And as it says on the tin, it's the Irish Centre on Wrongful Convictions. This isn't about Belfast or any part of Belfast. This is about the island of Ireland. So we don't care if you're from Derry or Strabane. Sean, our sister here from Strabane, or what part of the country. We're here to help. So it's an all-Ireland project. So Thanks very much. We'll have Pat Livingston and myself, along with John and Paddy and Paul Masker, West Belfast MP, are going to unveil the portrait, which Danny Devaney has kindly done for us, free of charge. So thank you. So I'll be careful not to all this whole thing down here.
Well, we'll be assisting former prisoners with applications to the Criminal Cases Review Commission and bring forward new evidence in relation to their cases. There are many miscarriages of justice throughout the course of the conflict, and we feel that if we apply to the CCRC, that there's absolutely no doubt that they'll direct cases back to the Court of Appeal. And we see that there are former cases such as this. Charlie McManaman is one example of that, and we feel there's many other miscarriages of justice out there that haven't been brought before the courts as yet. So we can use the judicial process to overturn many of these convictions.
Well, the Centre for Irish Centre for Wrongful Convictions is initially be set up in Belfast, but we want to put it out that it's actually an all-Ireland project for north and south of the border, and believe it or not, there is an awful lot of issues that are south of the border that people haven't done anything about, or perhaps they weren't aware that they could do anything about. So we want to put it out there that we will completely and utterly want to accept everybody to contact the centre if they feel that there is any issues with them in terms of wrongful convictions, and that we are here to help, and we want to say that it's for absolutely everybody, north and south, and hopefully going forward that the centres will open in the south of Ireland along with being in the north of Ireland. So I would just like to appeal to anybody out there that if they wish to get in contact with the Irish Centre on Wrongful Convictions, that they can be sure that their case will be treated with confidence, and we will certainly do our best to help you out.
Well, my role along with Paddy Murray is to provide legal advice and assistance to those people that contact the centre and ask us to review the issues surrounding their historic convictions and issues around their case. And my role will be to gather the legal papers, examine those, and to see whether that case merits progression towards potentially the Court of Appeal, but certainly before the Criminal Cases Review Commission. I would strongly urge anybody, no matter how hopeless or helpless they may feel, to contact the centre, because really I see no harm in asking the question and asking myself and asking Paddy Murray to look at the case and see whether it merits progression to the next stage, and that will be done, and it's very easy to do. And I think if there's any residue with people who have a conviction that they do feel that there was something wrong, something rotten, that they were a victim of a conveyor belt justice system, then I do urge them to get in touch with the centre so that we can look at this issue and potentially help them and take their case forward.